I cover workforce, how folks get through job training, apprenticeships. I focus on community colleges and AI and the job market. But I just want to be useful here. I have lots of thoughts about at least my world of journalism and some about PR too. I tried to quit journalism a few times, 3 times. Worked in PR 3 times, and one time got fired. A couple times I lasted a little longer, about a year one time. But I'm a journalist. I sometimes wish I wasn't. It's hard. It's a hard profession, but it's what I do. My grandfather was a newspaper editor, and when I started working for the college newspaper, he was like, "It's not going to be an easy path. You should think twice." But I'm still doing it after 30 years, and I hope to be doing it a while longer. So I'll stop there. I'd really love to make this a conversation rather than me just rambling. Any questions, areas you'd want to hear about? Don't be shy. Otherwise, I'll just tell some stories.
Take advantage of this opportunity.
Can I start off with just, what do you think about AI in the newsroom?
Well, first of all, I don't know if this is a safe space for talking about AI. Is it? I think it is. Should be. Like, do y'all use it? Y'all use LLMs? Nobody. Come on, show of hands. Who really nobody uses them at all? All right. I really think you should. If you don't, even just like 10 minutes a day, just as an experiment. Like, one of the things that I do get a lot of access, a surprising degree, with folks who are really at the forefront of this. Google has been really good with bringing me in to talk about some of this, and not just on AI itself, but like how it's going to change jobs. That's my big thing. But it doesn't tell you. Like, you kind of have to see it. I graduated right. This is sad, but right when Google started, Google search. And as a journalist, if you didn't know how to, and believe me, a lot of people didn't know how to use Google very well, didn't know how to incorporate it into their work, didn't want to, and you would fall behind, straight up. And I feel like AI is like that. Like today, I'll give you a specific example. I have to write my newsletter tomorrow. I'm flying at midnight, so I don't have a lot of time. And I was listening to the Ezra Klein podcast. You guys know what that is? New York Times. It's pretty good. Check it out. I used to hate him. He's really good. I was more jealous than anything else. He came up and made it to the New York Times very young. He had a guy named Cory Doctorow on, who is an author and a genius, has a book called Enshittification, which is about how tech companies turn everything to garbage in the end. And it's much more intelligent than that short summary. But he was talking about how I write about nursing. And he was talking about how in nursing, for contract nurses, when they're hiring them, there are these tech companies that can access people's debt, their credit card debt, and can tell the healthcare companies how desperate people are to get a job and how desperate they are to make a certain wage that they can't quit their job. Basically, it's horrible stuff. We don't have privacy laws in this country, so you're able to access people's credit card debt and to see potential contract nurses, how little you can pay them to keep them on the hook. That's what Cory Doctorow said. So I unfortunately for me, I had a different plan for my newsletter. I have to figure out if this is a legit thing. So just was sitting out here for 20 minutes before I came in, and instead of just Googling around about these tech platforms, I asked Claude, which is Anthropic's LLM. It's my favorite one. You should check it out. I actually use the free version because my colleague has our $20 a month one, and they stopped making. I can't poach it anymore. I'm gonna have to sign up myself. So I just used the free version and said, is this legit? Where did Doctorow pull this info? Are these platforms real? Can you give me the counter argument to this? And it was pretty good. It was a conversational thing, I would do with you. But this, Claude has access to the entire internet. It's just a different level of search capability. And so I took what Claude told me and I texted a hospital executive with a much more intelligent question about whether this was real. And the guy told me, he's exaggerating. It's kind of true, but the scale of usage, the amount of people actually using this to hire people after looking at their debt in his hospital system is very small. They don't really do it much at all. And this is somebody I trust. So, I use it as like a free thought partner more than like a tool. Like not like, I want you to solve this problem for me. It's like, helping me think through tough questions. Like I'm not gonna publish what AI tells me. Like I have to vet it, I have to do it. But like, I'll give you one other example, and this is a good one. And this gets to the scary stuff about AI. Less than a year ago, the CEO of Anthropic, which again is this AI company that I think is positioning itself as the safe, responsible one, the one you can trust. I kind of do trust it, but that's their branding. He came out and said, within 1 to 5 years, fully 50% of entry-level knowledge work jobs are going away. 50%, 1 to 5 years. And it was like a gunshot. Like people all over the country freaked out. And he's a super smart guy. He has not backed down from this. So that night I had to redo my newsletter, kind of like this thing. And I asked Claude, I had Claude because my copy editor was asleep. It was like midnight when I finished, and I pay a copy editor $150 a week to edit my newsletter. And I asked Claude to read my top 2-3 graphs on this thing from Dario Amodei. And Claude said, look, I think you're giving him a little bit too much free rein here. Like this company wants to sell people that they have this world-changing technology, and it feels like you should at least inject a little bit of like, he's not a disinterested party. Crazy, because this is the company, this is the CEO that produces Claude. And it's telling me, maybe you're still giving this guy a little bit too much credit. And like, that to me, like, and like I didn't do exactly what it told me, but it was helpful. Like it helped me think, and I added a line to my story. And like, that's like basically a free 20-year veteran editor that I could consult any time of day about anything. And you can see how that might be tough for the hiring market. Like, I don't have to have an editor who's up at midnight to help me. I have Claude. Not for everything, but there are definitely tasks in our small company that AI can do now. And to me, it's like also, I can't write about AI if I don't know anything about it. So I use all of the LLMs, the big ones. There's 4 of them. You all use Google search though, right? That's AI. You've seen that, right? The AI summaries. Like, to me, it's crazy. Like, this is basically how our brains work now. Like, Google has changed the human mind, I think. And like pretty quietly in the last year, it stopped just doing links. Like you can opt out of it kind of maybe now, I don't, but Gemini does link summaries, right? And like, I don't know what you guys think, but I think they're pretty good. I'm a little bit lazy. I'm usually in a rush. Like I don't always click through. Like I trust the Gemini summaries to some extent. And unfortunately, again, like it's better. I think it's better search, but like say you look up something on my beat, and I'm often the only publication covering my beat, which is also a topic we could discuss, why nobody covers this stuff. But like, I have done this and seen that Google is summarizing my content, and it's not easy to see the link. People aren't clicking through like they used to. The click-throughs are way down on Google, and that's my business. And I just told you, like, I think Google is I like Google generally in my space. They've been really open with me. But the CEO of Google, when they did this, was like, oh no, it'll drive more traffic to publishers. It'll be good, it'll be fine. It's not happening. It's like down 37%. So just a completely different world in 6 months. Sir?
You mentioned this term that I want to make sure people know about, once you explain LLM.
Sorry, yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of jargon here. Does anyone know what that is? I'll explain my kind of garbled version, but hands up if you've heard of an LLM. Yeah, all right, good. So large language model, there's 4 big ones. They call them the frontier models. These are enormously expensive tech programs to train. Like every version of OpenAI's ChatGPT is the biggest one, the most famous one. You know, they're up to GPT-5. Each new level is costing like an exponentially large amount to train. The amount of data to train these things, these large language models are trained on just massive amounts of data. it's getting to like billions of dollars to train each one. But so OpenAI, ChatGPT, that's the most famous one, the one most people probably still use. I've already mentioned Anthropic's Claude and Google Gemini. And then there's Grok, XAI, Elon Musk's company. Those are the 4 biggest ones that kind of power all the chat bots, most of the kind of English language-based AI that you're using, what people think of as AI. There's more AI, robotics, there's all sorts of different uses of AI, but that's the one that's for people like us the most applicable. Anyone use Grok by chance? So I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk. I'll come right out and say it. Don't like him. Don't like X. I think it's really toxic. I quit doing it. Like for a long time I was on there because I don't know about what you all think, but you have to do a lot of self-promotion to make it in journalism. Like I had 10,000 followers on X and that was like part of my brand and how I kept employed. But I just couldn't take it anymore. I was seeing a lot less value. But some academic researchers I trust will often say it's one of the best models. You should try it. Like, might not like Elon, but it is actually a very powerful tool. So I do use it some. The privacy concerns with each one of these are really scary, by the way. Like, you all know, you probably all have given up on privacy, right? I'm not being glib. Like, do you guys believe that you can really stay private in your life? Okay, so it's sad, but I think younger people are a little bit more like that. Like for a while, I was resisting Google. I'm talking like 15 years ago, and some younger people were like, "Oh, sure, that's gonna work, Paul." Like, now I've completely given up. Like I wear a Fitbit, so Google is literally monitoring my heart rate right now, like all this stuff. But like there's a famous, it's true, but Meta knows if you're on Facebook or Insta, within 4 posts, an insane amount about you. Can tell what your family background is, what your kind of substance abuse issues are from 4 posts to target you with advertising. The LLMs are even better. So I'll tell you, or worse, depending on your perspective, they're very powerful at figuring out who you are by your interaction with them. And we have absolutely no privacy controls. So the companies, you have to trust them. But I was using Grok. I hadn't logged in. I was using the free version, just, grok.ai, or whatever it is. And I asked it to critique my publication. It's like I had this idea, it might be fun to do that. And it destroyed me. It was really brutal and really good. Like, its criticisms hit me so deeply, like way more than any human ever had. Like, it identified the weaknesses of what we do in ways that I found very troubling. But like a few comments in, I got angry. I was like, I am Paul Fain, and what you just said is BS. And Grok was like, yeah, I know it's you. I know where you live, like all this stuff. And it was just like, obvious point, but like that interaction was really intense. And like, by the way, like typing into an LLM is how I use it. Everyone who really knows stuff about AI tells me you should do the voice interaction. Like if you really want to see the power of it, just do it with voice, please.
I'm just curious on this when talking about AI on a more broader scale. So obviously there's been a lot of instances specifically with like character AI and ChatGPT and stuff with children, and then also with like governments utilizing it in war and things like that. But there's been a lot of inaccuracies and like with the kids especially. I think there's been multiple cases of kids committing suicide.
Yep.
And things like that. Do you think we need more stricter regulation on AI, and do you think the cons outweigh the pros in this?
It's a great question. So one of the things that has kept me employed over the years, in my opinion, in journalism, is that I'm not an advocate. I don't advocate for things. So I'm able to talk with people in the Trump administration as well as Democrats in state capitals. So I'm not going to tell you what I personally think, but I will say we have zero privacy controls. The tech companies are completely unregulated in this country when it comes to that. So that is scary. And what I think is really interesting is the politics are shifting. Like historically, it's been the Democrats who have wanted to push more into the privacy regulation. But now the right is getting there too, particularly the far right, actually. Josh Hawley from Missouri is a senator. He's very into like AI is challenging our humanity and we should keep children away from it as long as possible. And it's not just him. So there a lot of people who think that the politics on this are going to shift in the next year or so, and you might actually see some real regulation. I mean, this country doesn't do regulation when it comes to AI, though, and I'm skeptical. Frankly, the companies are so powerful right now. Like if you listen to the Trump administration, they're all steam ahead, like full speed ahead. Regulation could only hurt us in our competition with China. But to your point, one of the things that I think is most scary, like you mentioned character AI and ChatGPT, the one that I'm not even, honestly, I'm not sure you all should try this. Please don't do this on my recommendation, but there's one called Sesame AI. Has anyone heard of this one? I hope not. It's just like a companion play. Andreessen Horowitz is a big investment firm that's funding this one. And it's free. You can get like a half hour with it. And I had a buddy who told me his 16-year-old had gotten addicted to this. And so I tried it and it was disturbing. Like the way that it found ways to engage me, to personalize with me is just very powerful. And like I've had people I know who are working, again, I don't want to just be scary here. Like as a coach, like a career coach, AI can be amazing. Like you can ask questions of AI that you wouldn't want to ask a human. Like I don't know what this is. I'm embarrassed to ask. They're never going to judge you. There are just a lot of things, like if you don't have access to someone who knows about your resume and all your skills as often as you would a career coach, like I think that's really powerful. And I know people who are building tools in that space that are really good, I think, on net, like they're good for people. But some of the people I know in that space are really worried because people kind of lose touch with reality sometimes when interacting with this. And if you think about it, like it is another form of intelligence that we have to take very seriously. For me personally, in my personal life, like I have a 10-year-old, I'm gonna keep her off of this stuff as long as I can.
When you say it's a form of intelligence, do you ever worry that it would get to a point where the ethics of unplugging it would become unethical? It would be altered in the ethics of that? And what do you think?
I do, yeah. I mean, that's not my expertise, but I have a buddy who's a neurosurgeon who works in AI now, and he legitimately worries about that. Like and there are a lot of people far smarter than I am on those ethics issues that do worry about that. But to bring it to like the world I'm in, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, he convincingly predicts that within a year or two, AI may be better than any human at anything. And the way he describes it is, think about a data center filled with a country full of geniuses. That's where we are pretty soon. That doesn't mean like it's going to replace all people, but like at this point, like I actually just, one of the things I think is really smart to do is to try to see what AI can do with my publication. Like write a weekly newsletter in the spirit of Paul Fain on X, Y, and Z issues. And today it's not as good as what I do. And I like to think about like, what is it not as good as I am? And one of them is like, I talk to people. I find people and I talk with them. And if they trust me, they tell me things. AI can't do that now as well. Like, it's not like I can create an AI agent. You all know what an AI agent is. Have you heard of this So agentic AI is the next wave of AI. And Anthropic just released a new suite of tools in AI, Claude Code and Claude Assistant last week, and it rocked the market. You guys may have seen this. Software stocks and all sorts of companies dropped massively because, Salesforce, Workday, Intuit, all these things that are just software for businesses people are worried that these agentic tools from AI can just replace, can do better. You don't need Intuit to your accounting anymore. So basically and I'm simplifying because I'm not an expert here, but an agent is where you create like a customized tool and set it to do tasks automatically, like on its own. And, you could see, like my colleague has done some very basic ones where it's like, go off and report on this stuff, send some emails, eventually make some calls. Like, we're not there yet. Like, I personally have not ever received a call from an AI agent, but, I'm getting emails from people that are clearly written by AI. And so that world, I think, is coming pretty soon. I still personally think, like, if you're a reporter and you're out there, like, shoe leather style, talking to actual human beings, and they're not going to get there, I don't think. But I think one of the things that's most important right now is check your assumptions. Like, it might. Like, it's not good. I don't think it's good to take anything for granted right now around AI and to feel that, have strong feelings about things, because you might be wrong. And I feel like humans are really bad at that. Like a lot of my friends who don't know anything about AI have like super strong feelings. I'll be like, so I was talking to Google executives about this. I'm like, no, that's wrong. I'm like, dude, did you hear who I just said I was talking with? Like, people, I think especially in the professions that you all are looking to go into, you have to be pretty flexible and open to trying new things because the world is changing really fast. Sure.
Is there any way, it's kind of like a double-sided question. Is there any way to further like your information about like do more research on those things without getting like too pessimistic or depressed about it? Like removing kind of like your emotions with like it per se, but like, cause like whenever I like interact or not really interact, but like see AI, hear people conversations about it like in the media, wherever, I say
That's a really good question.
Is there any way to circumvent that?
That's a really good question. So, the CEO of OpenAI, his name is Sam Altman, and he's definitely one of the best salespeople in tech. He's like really good at being like, this is amazing, and people love, he's really good at closing a deal. Just last week, he had this extraordinary interview or whatever he posted online that he's like, I was using like their coding tool, and he realizes like the whole thing that he spent his life learning is gone. Like his like professional worth no longer is worth anything. And so like, it's not just you, it's even the people who are building this. But like, I mean, we've had challenges before. I don't know, like I would try to keep positive. I really would. I think, let me put it this way, and then I have a concrete thing for you. Like, most of the people I talk to, like there's a research scientist who's big in AI. He gave a speech 2 years ago that I saw that concluded with him crying. And that was one of those moments where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna need to push into this AI stuff because like this, but his belief is that once we get past this transition, it's going to be good. Like a lot of people I trust who are not like Pollyannas are like, if we can get through the next few years, like it's going to eliminate a lot of scut work, and it's going to boost productivity and economic growth. Like, I'm not going to go as far as Elon, who I don't trust at all, but he says we don't even need to worry about retirement savings because so come on, that's cool if you're a trillionaire, but I do think on the other end, this can be really good. Like you can see, like my mom was an elementary school teacher, like writing quizzes, like just doing some of the stuff that ate up so much of her time. So benefits there. Concretely though, this is so weird again to say, because Google, I think, is the world's most powerful company, that they do these like super affordable entry-level online courses, Google career certificates, and they have one on AI fluency. I think it's like $49, 10 hours, it's asynchronous. And if you do one of those things and kind of just like, it demystifies it, I find it a little less depressing. When you kind of understand how it works a little bit better than most people do, I think it makes it less mysterious and scary. I hope that helped. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's intense. And I think like people are right to have this emotional reaction to it, because it's like, we don't really have much to compare this to. But, like the computer changed the world in a lot of ways. The internet did, a lot of ways that weren't great, as we all know. So if you think about it as a continuation of a changing world, not something that's like totally amazing on its own, I think it makes it a little less scary, but.
Talking about AI, the topic that gets brought up is the ethical part of it all. Like, that in many ways, like especially within journalism, in the sense of it's an AI looking over your work. If it's a human, AI tends to bloviate a lot, and we get environmentally like the impact that so much generative AI specifically, especially, kind of has on water usage and whatnot. So how would you say that journalists should, I guess, reconcile with these, drawbacks? Like, should journalists limit their AI use? Should they use it for only specific things? How would you say journalists?
That's a great question. I think the best answer I can give there is to not ignore those questions and to talk about them. Like, I think in the classroom, talking about this is the way to go. Like, I've read surveys that show like college students are using it, but they're not sure they can, and they're not asking. And that's actually on the universities. And Stony Brook's different from what I've heard. Like, you all are ahead of the curve. Like, a lot of places kind of leave it to the student to figure it out. Like, that's not cool. Like, we need to be open about this. And I think that goes for a newsroom. And I'll give you a specific example. So I interviewed the chief human resources officer for Kroger's last week. Kroger employs 400,000 people. So this is like, can you imagine, like, you're in charge of 400,000 employees. They have an AI driver's license. Like, they look at it like a driver's license for all sorts of different job roles. And it's like not super strict, but it like gives you guardrails. Like, it's cool to use it for this, but don't use it for this. And their philosophy is like, we have to like talk about this and not just guess what is the way to go. And I think that is what I would do. Like, I talk about how I use AI with my audience, with my colleagues. Like, just yesterday over dinner with some professors here, we were talking about like, do you use it I was talking with a musician to help you write music? Does that feel right? And she said, yes, actually, like in certain ways, like to get past a block or to have some help. But like one mental exercise I've heard is, would you use it to write your wedding vows? And most people say, no. You should. So like those are the questions I think we all need to wrestle with. On the environment front, and I'm not an expert on this, but I think the power usage is more of a problem than the water usage. And just to put it in context here, this is the biggest infrastructure build out in this country in US history. More than the railroads, more than the Apollo project. The only expense, the Wall Street Journal did this on Friday, that's ever been bigger as a portion of GDP is the Louisiana Purchase, where we bought 1/3 of our country's territory. So there's an unbelievable amount of money. I live in Columbus, Ohio. The data centers are everywhere. It's crazy. And it's sucking up power like you would not believe. New York, Ohio, many other states now are looking in their legislatures at pausing any new construction. So like this is turning into a big political issue, red states and blue. Like, what do we get from these companies in return for all that power? Like, people's power bills are going up. And, like I can see the benefits. It's like, it reminds me a lot of like in the 90s again, when the internet was new, there was broadband builds going everywhere. And they spent too much on it. It was a big part of the internet crash of the late 90s. But like that broadband is paid off for us as a society. I mean, we couldn't stream anything if we didn't have it. So like, there is the argument that having that much cloud data, which is how all the stuff we do on the internet works, will be beneficial in the long run. But I don't have the answer there, man. But I think that's the right question.
You would argue it's like a necessary step to a full.
Yeah, or at least like if we're definitely headed to a world where more data usage is going to happen, for bad or for good, those data centers are going to get used. I think like it's unclear how much it will be AI and whatever, but I think most people think we're going to need more data And it's not just the US, the Middle East, they're building a ton of them, China, of course. And again, I hate to be talking about Elon again. He says he's going to put them in space. So there's just a lot of competition to create data and power. And actually, one of the craziest things is it's going to drive, probably people think, the rebirth, the re-energization of nuclear power. Small nuclear power plants are probably going to pop up. So by the way, like on careers front, like I know a recruiter for data centers who's recruiting Navy veterans who have some understanding of nuclear power, because most of our military ships are run by nuclear power. Like if you wanted to go into nuclear power, it's a good time to do that. Like it's going to change job opportunities in so many ways. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I know that there's now more, like, they're trying to be more eco-friendly AIs. Like, I know SOCJ, they use, like, I think wind power, and other things like that. Do you think that bigger companies, or, like, the big four that you mentioned, are going to start to take that up as, like, water and power has shown to, like, actually impact a lot of people's lives, and I think data centers are becoming more popular?
That's a great question. So the US-based tech companies' big play is to push for the most insane AI capability possible, AGI, where AI has gone past what humans can achieve, right? Like this idea that the best, most brilliant AI is where the most money is going to be. Most of the Chinese AI companies based in China are more like practical applications, like don't have to have ChatGPT's incredible capabilities to do like things that are good for people, beneficial uses, right? So there is this idea that like, and it has, I've not heard of that company, by the way. It's amazing, I do this for a job and I don't know lots of this stuff, but like smaller models, like that don't have to be amazing, that don't have to read 10 trillion bytes of information per second to use for like practical tasks. Like I talked to somebody who's doing a AI tool for people who work in construction, where like it accesses like just information about that industry, and that's plenty. Uses way less power, way less data. So I think right now we're in the race to win with the big models. But I think at some point, like a professor here was telling me yesterday that race is going to taper off pretty soon, and then maybe I would imagine there'd be a market for a more eco-friendly AI. I would look at it. Is that it for great questions? Yep. Anyone here to it?
What kind of, like, this is another ethics question, but do you think that there's any sort of like guardrails that can be put in place to prevent like AI psychosis, because of it's prevalent enough that, I've listened to this really interesting podcast about Flesh and Code, about the replica AI. And then you see the ads all over the subway for the friend AI, and they're like, oh, you don't need friends. You
Oh,
need your phone.
Jeez.
But, like, it's real. Someone got arrested trying to kill the Queen of England with the AI psychosis. Like, and AI is not even that prevalent yet. And, like, people don't even know about these products, and, like, what kind of guardrails do you think can be put in place to prevent, more of that AI psychosis?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like, I don't know what you all think. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I feel like everyone has the potential to get addicted to social media from 10 to 90. Like, you might pretend that you are immune to that or that you can control it, but none of us can. Like and I've quit most of them. Like if I get on X, and I don't anymore, like I'm gonna get sucked in. I'm gonna doom scroll. Like I sat on a plane the other day next to a guy for 5 hours, probably 75 years old, scrolling on Insta, the same stuff about Billie Eilish the entire flight. I'm like, what has this done to this dude's brain? Like it's gone. So like, I think first of all, like looking at it that way as a consumer, like I look at it like a drug, like beware. Like the way like the LLMs work is they'll ask you a question. Like they want to keep you engaged, like and don't think that you can overcome that, because unfortunately I feel like the regulation is not going to be there in time. If like these things are already that powerful. Like I really feel genuinely conflicted about mentioning that companion tool because it's that dangerous. But to get a much better answer, and I actually should have said this from the beginning, look up this guy Dario Amadai's essay from last week. So this is the CEO of Anthropic. He knows as much about this as anyone. It's pretty big. It's like a 3,000 word essay, but he gets into all of the risks, like the climate risk and the ethics risk and like potential solutions. And he has the best answers I've heard yet. And I like it because it's coming from a company that's in this space. But, I think we're going to need a functional political system, particularly Congress, to set those guardrails. And as you guys may have heard, Congress is not that functional right now. But I think this issue, like something like Pete Buttigieg, remember that guy? He thinks there's going to be a political ground shift where like the whole rules of like liberal and conservative will shift around this stuff. And like a lot of it's going to be driven by your kids. Like I think most people don't want like 12-year-olds getting hooked on an AI companion. But like, I'm always trying to end on the positive instead of the dark. But Mark Zuckerberg, multi-trillion-dollar company, he says that we should all have AI friends. And like, I don't know, man, like I personally, like that gives me big doubts about using any of Meta's tools. Like I just when like, if you're using Instagram, think about what that company's ethos is about. And like, hopefully the market will reward companies that actually take people's sanity seriously. We have time for this yet?
Question. In all this in mind, how do you think, like, in more like, not so much like creative fields, but also like fields where like opinions are being expressed? Like some of those can be creative. I also think, in my opinion, journalism is very much a field that you express opinions. How do you feel that people there or otherwise can kind of like keep their voice singular, keep being able to express themselves without like the fear or the need for like AI to be involved in that some way? Also involved, not trying to think of that. Still involved to a certain extent, but not like where it completely overpowering the actual like what's trying to be said.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to answer this directly, but like the internet is already awash in AI slop, as you all probably can tell and know. So like the question of like valuing human opinions when like you can't tell what is a human opinion, and unfortunately I think this is going to get worse. Like it's going to be hard to know what videos are real. It already is, but it's going to get harder. Audio, stuff like that. But I would actually go back like before AI. I said this earlier, and I feel pretty strongly about this. Like I will often, when I'm talking with an earlier career journalist who's interested in writing for our publication, pretty quickly they'll say, well, I think this, and I think this, and like AI is bad here. And I'm just like, nobody cares what you think. Like you're supposed to be a reporter. Like, and I'm pretty old school like that. Like I think we have a lot of opinions. It's very easy to access very strong opinions about anything on social media. But like to be trusted, like to hold your opinions back unless you really feel it. Like I very rarely do anything opinionated in my reporting, but sometimes like, as you guys know, like every once in a while there is a clear bad actor and you can turn the knife, you can come hard. And like, I think if you have people's trust, that you're not just spouting off about everything, like that you're a responsible opinion person, will cut through that noise a bit more. That's my hope. I know I didn't really answer it, but.
I know we're talking more on the national front. I just have a question about international ethics with AI, especially with it emerging and we're talking about like laws, international policing, and with war and its use of AI and all and that kind of front. How do you think we're gonna see that development in navigation? I know there's already been a lot of investigations on use of AI with war materials and things like that. The AP recently did one. So how do you think that countries are going to start figuring that out? Do you think it's going to start like, I know like we have like nuclear treaties and things like that. Do you think AI is going to kind of have its own subset when it comes to that?
Definitely. So have any of you heard of the company Anduril? You will. So this is, I think, our most important defense contractor. It's a relatively new company. The founder's 32 years old. They build drones, mass-produced drones, so like cheap, easily destroyed and replaced drones. They are building a factory in my hometown of Columbus that's going to hire 4,000 people at $128,000 a head without college degrees. It'll be the biggest factory in Ohio's history. And they're AI-powered, automated drones. And the question is, where is the human in the loop? Can we, at this point, have a drone that kills people without a human in the loop? And Anduril says, yes, we can and we should do that. And there's the Palantir is another company in that space. They don't build drones, but there's a big debate right now about, the United States has always been the country that is the furthest removed from killing decisions. With drones, with humans right now, it's very different than a soldier on the ground, So I think that is the next frontier of ethics in war, and it's absolutely going to be about AI. Right now, we're pulling out of a lot of treaties, as you may have heard. So, but I think that the United States is going to have to think about that very carefully, and it's going to be sooner than later. I don't want to sound like an activist here. Like Anduril is a really exciting company. I've told friends, you should maybe go work for it. And if used responsibly, I'm making a counter argument. As a deterrent, they're selling it as a deterrent. So if there was a huge war between the United States, Russia, and China, Anduril's tools would be so powerful that nobody would touch us. That's their argument. And I think, I'm not an expert on any of this, but and this is a kind of exciting thing. There's going to be work to be done on that. There hasn't been enough coverage of that. We should have more coverage so people can decide how seriously to take it. Oh, really tough questions. Y'all worked me. Yeah. Thanks.